All right, what's up, everyone? Episode 1 of the Purely Podcast. We have Grip and Rip, Purely Baseball, 3-0 Green Light. So, we're going to be talking about Cody Bellinger here today and what we expect from him, what this could mean for the other Scott Boras clients. There's obviously a lot of them still sitting around in free agency. And, of course, what does the Cody Bellinger deal mean for the Chicago Cubs? So, first things first, how do we think that Cody Bellinger's year is going to be in 2024 compared to 2023? Will he regress? Will it be better? Whoever wants to answer that.
As a Pirates fan, I think he'll regress a little bit. I think last year was honestly, I don't want to say a one-hit wonder because he's obviously shown in the past that he could actually do what he's done. But I don't think I think last year was kind of a fluke, but I think he'll regress a little bit.
Yeah.
Because, last year he was playing for a contract and he did exactly what he was doing. So it's going to be tough. It's definitely going to be tough to say, but I do think he will be good in that lineup. They definitely needed him, to say the least.
Yeah, they really did. Especially, I think that he will regress just a little bit. Not as much as most projections have him. Some people on FanGraphs, they have him at a 250 average, a 2.1 WAR, and a 750 OPS. And I think that's just a bit too pessimistic, especially because a lot of the reason why he struggled the past couple of years was from his swing. And last season, I saw that his swing looked a lot more reminiscent from 2019 and 2018 when he performed well. So while I do think he'll regress a little bit, it's not as much as most people think, especially with his defense and his base running. I think that he'll easily be worth 3 WAR at the very bottom. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, you look at that swing from previous years. It was probably the worst in baseball. It was brutal.
It was ugly.
Dodgers fans were absolutely disgusted. It was time to move on. They obviously did move on, and it worked out for Bellinger. Very, very good year, getting an 881 OPS. Now, the odds of him doing that again, not very high. But if he can, let's just say, get an 800 OPS next year, I believe that could be enough to get him a big contract like what he wanted. Because right now, teams don't want to pay him or didn't want to pay him because the inconsistency. I mean, Look at 2021, 542 OPS, 2022, 654. It was brutal. And then he has this great 2023 going back into that 2019 form. So if he can stay consistent, he will be getting a big contract. And I do expect a little bit of a regression, but, again, not a ton.
Exactly.
Well, one reason why his swing was so ugly because he had that shoulder issue. He pulled his shoulder out plenty of times before, and it was finally healed, and obviously you saw what was happening when it finally healed. So I think he'll be good though. I mean, I think as a Pirates fan, I hate to say this, but I think he's going to lead the Cubs probably to the first place in the National League Central, probably.
Yeah, it was another question I had. Do you think that this makes them over the top NL Central favorites over a team like the Reds?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, I think
Reds.
So. Yeah,
they have. Oh, you can go.
I was going to say, especially because the Cardinals and the Brewers are going to be the worst they've been in the past few years. And especially that the Cubs missed out on the playoffs last year, and that was a pretty big failure. And now they've gone out and got Imanaga for $53 million, Craig Counsell for $40, and now bringing back Cody Bellinger. I just think that if they don't win the division, it'll just kind of be a big disappointment. Not gonna lie.
They've spent a lot of money this offseason. They've got a little bit of hate saying, okay, they spent all this money on a manager, but they haven't made many moves. Realistically, they had a Neris, 171 ERA for that bullpen. Hector Neris is a big, big ad. Again, Bellinger re-signing, that's huge. And then Shota. I think this team definitely, they're the NL Central favorites. They have to be.
Yeah, I agree.
The only people that can come close, I think, are going to be the Reds. But the Reds are just a young team. They're not experienced enough to overtake that yet. And there are more veterans on the Cubs than the Reds ever had. Considering the fact you have to realize Joey Votto is not going to be a Red this year. Which obviously was their locker room leader. So they're going to need someone to step up. Probably Jonathan India. I mean, I wouldn't say Ellie's no locker room leader yet, although he probably will be in a couple of years. But no, I think the Cubs have this division on lock. My Pirates will probably come in third place. I don't think we'll overbeat the Reds either. But the Brewers and the Cardinals, they're going to be the worst they have ever been. Like he said, that Corbin Burns trade that definitely put a blow to them, to say the least.
It
Definitely, yeah.
did. Yeah, that division's so interesting right now, because the Cubs have really added a lot, and it's not that hard of a division to win right now. As you said, the Reds are such a young team, and guys like Ellie got so much hype last year, but statistically, he wasn't even that great of a player. They're so
Not at
young;
all.
they have a lot of developing to go. So they're definitely not ready for that first place yet. It should be the Cubs division.
Now I'll clock the Reds in at 83 wins. I think that's a fair assessment. 83. I'll clock
around there.
I'll clock the Cubs in at probably 88. I think it'll be close. It's not going to be as far-fetched as everyone thinks, but it'll be close till the very end.
Mm-hmm.
To the very end, it'll be close.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Now, is Scott Boras happy with the Bellinger deal? that's the real question. Is Boras actually happy with this contract?
I just can't. He cannot be happy with that. I mean, players don't want to sign this late in spring training because of family. I don't know if Bellinger has a wife or a girlfriend, but I'm sure she's not happy with that. She doesn't know where she's going to be living, and that's not going to be good for Bellinger. And then also a lot of other places like CBS Sports had him at like 6 years, 180. Spot Track had him at 6 years, 150, and MLB Trade Rumors had him at 12 years, 264. And he signed nowhere close to that, nowhere near it.
As Boris is not happy. No way. They
Definitely
just waited too late. They just waited too late. I mean, the ball was in the team's court. The ball was not in their court. If they would have signed earlier on in the offseason, the ball was in their court. But they waited literally. It's like 30 days until opening day. Like, you can't be signing big money deals like that. So I could definitely. Yeah, Scott Boras. I think Boras screwed over his clients and all the rest of his clients.
He definitely did.
He did. Yeah. That's how I look at it, at least.
That's how I look at it as well. I mean, Boras really just got defeated by every single team this offseason. They showed they're not going to be giving these guys like Bellinger, who's had 2 good seasons since 2019, a mega contract like what he wanted. It's just not happening. Teams aren't doing it.
Yeah, exactly. And I will go as far as saying this: the next CBA agreement, whatever that is, I think it's 2027. There will be a lockdown, and you could blame Scott Boras for that lockdown. You can. And the Dodgers. I'll go as far as saying that as well.
Yeah, and I mean, Manfred's already talked about wanting some sort of a free agent deadline to say, so you don't have this problem happening where players are still not signed at the start of spring training. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, I think they were talking about like end of December to have that deadline. I think that would be a little bit too soon, in my opinion.
I agree.
I think it should be January. Yeah, like end of January, something like that. But end of December is like 6 weeks from when free agency starts. I think around there, 6 to 8 weeks, and I just don't think that would be too much time, especially because then it's only like 2 weeks after the winter meetings. Yeah.
Yeah, I think as long as it's really just before spring training, I think that's the biggest thing, having these guys ready for spring training. Just seeing too many instances of people signing during spring training. Look at Trevor Story a few years ago with Boston. Bro signed like probably 7 days before the regular season. It just can't be happening. So I think that'll definitely be an argument in the next CBA.
Absolutely. There's going to be a lot of arguments in the next CBA.
There's going to be a lot. There's so much going on right now.
Ceiling, floor, and it's going to be a mess. It's going to be an absolute mess.
It's going to be.
And it's going to be
worse than the last one.
Yeah, it's going to be the last one under Manfred as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's going to be fun. That'll be fun. He'll go out with a bang. Believe me, he'll go out with a bang.
I know. He'll do something.
He's going to. He's going to absolutely screw up. Whatever he's going to do, he'll screw up for the next commissioner, which I assume, because here's how it works. They choose the commissioner, the next one, a long time in advance.
Yeah.
So when this next CBA happens, we might very well know who the next commissioner is going to be at that time. So hopefully he has a say as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, hopefully he's working with them, but,
I would like to assume so. But if not, that's not good.
Yeah, that would be really, that would be interesting. Yeah, for me, I would say, Boris would probably be happy in the sense he got the best deal that he could. He waited very, very long, and I think he saw no one wanted to budge. But at the very least, Bellinger got paid, and he has opt-outs now, has one good season. All right, you're getting a big contract. So I'll say he's happy in that sense, but he's definitely not happy in the sense that a team won't go and give a mega deal anymore for a guy like Bellinger. Now, as far as like other Boris clients like Blake Snell, do we think that this could maybe lead to more signings, or what's going to be happening now that Bellinger's off the board? Will other Boris clients start to go?
Well, it has to. They have no choice. They have no choice. We're like 30 days away from spring training. If they want to start the season late, I mean, God bless them, but I don't think they're going to want to do that, you know?
Yeah, definitely not. Yeah. But I also think for some of them, like Matt Chapman, I think the market's pretty slim for him right now.
Yeah.
It's my Blue Jays might have a say in it, and then maybe the Giants or maybe the Cubs. I don't think the Cubs are going to go get him, but it's becoming pretty thin for him. Yeah.
The team that I think should go and get Matt Chapman more than anyone is the Mariners. I just made a video on it the other day. The Mariners have no third baseman. Brian Anderson right now is their third baseman. They don't have anyone. I mean, I don't know why they're not doing it, or like there's just so many guys that they could go and add, and the owner's just not spending money. That's where I would like to see Chapman wind up, but clearly not going to be happening there. So I think Toronto makes sense. They've already offered him a contract. You know, they've shown interest, and for a team like the Giants, do they really want to go and pay Chapman when they can go and pay a pitcher that's still on the market like Blake Snell?
Yeah.
So
and they need pitching. Yeah, definitely.
I do think Blake Snell ends up with the Yankees, though. I do think that's going to happen. I just have an eerie feeling it's going to happen. I think
maybe
what we're going to see.
Maybe.
I just don't know what teams could even like. Where would he even go? I mean, obviously, if Bob Nutting would spend money, he would be on the Pirates. But we're not going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about that. But you know, I could definitely see Snell in the Yankees.
I could also see him going to the Angels as well.
That's my pick. Yeah, I think it's gonna
be the Angels, Giants, and Yankees. Those are the three in my opinion. Yeah.
And the report a few days ago was the Angels are bound to go and get Montgomery or Snell. And I've just seen so many Snell to the Angels reports. Yeah, they definitely need him. So I think that probably makes sense over a team like the Yankees. There was actually a report the other day by Nightingale saying the Yankees would actually prefer a guy like Cease over a guy like Blake Snell. So that's really interesting because that tells me they don't have a ton of interest in Snell. They would rather go and give up a top prospect for Cease than they would go and sign Blake Snell. Yeah, I don't know if I see it.
Yeah, their payroll is extremely high as well. So adding like another 25 million at least for Snell would be a ton on their contract, on their payroll. Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely would. You know, so many Boris clients are available right now, and I just don't know who's actually willing to pay these guys. And I think another one we have to talk about is JD Martinez, obviously DH. What's going to be happening with him? He declined the Giants' offer, I believe, right before they signed Jorge Soler. Soler was like the guy that they had to go to because Martinez declined. Where does he wind up?
Yeah, I
don't even know what that DH market's even looking like right now.
The DH market's all over the place.
Yeah, it used to be us, the Blue Jays, and we signed Justin Turner. The Diamondbacks, but then they signed Jock Peterson. The Giants, who signed Jorge Soler. And now I'm not sure where JD Martinez could end up because those were the three main teams.
Yeah, I look at the DH position as old man positions. What I'm going to call it now, old man position.
It really
you have to look at, McCutchen, obviously older. All these guys who are DH are older. So you have to think like, what team doesn't have an older guy? I mean, dare I say the Athletics?
Cheap.
You say the Red Sox?
Yeah, they definitely need him. I mean, it's rough.
I think Yoshida's going to end up at DH.
He probably will, and that makes sense. But also, look at the Red Sox righties right now. It is so bad. Everyone is lefty. And I think you got Connor Wong. I'm trying to think who else is a righty. It's Story. Wong and Story might be the only two righties in the entire lineup.
And Devers, too. But that's... Or not Devers, sorry. Devers is lefty. Right.
Yeah.
I made a mistake. Yeah.
For sure.
You got Devers, Tristan Casas. Is like... Those are the two main lefties. And Yoshida, of course.
Yeah. We got to talk about Pirates extending Mitch Keller and the Bob Nutting situation. There's a lot going on there. Let's let Grip and Rip talk. Of course, the Pirates fan himself. What do you think about this article?
As a Pirates fan, I mean, there was nothing in that article that we already didn't know. For starters, Bob Nutting would be the cheapest owner in baseball if John Fisher didn't exist, for one.
Yeah.
The Pirates are projected to have the second lowest payroll in all of baseball right now. Next, obviously, to the Athletics, who aren't even going to spend a damn dime over anything until they get to Las Vegas or wherever they're going next, because they're not supposed to actually even be in Las Vegas until like 2027 or 2028 or something.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, they're going to be in like some minor league ballpark somewhere for like 3 or 4 years. But there's an article that came out the other day putting Nutting on blast, basically saying that he's so cheap and a lot of other stuff, like how they fired the hitting coach in Double-A after Brian Hayes went to him last year. They did not like that because obviously, as a major leaguer, you would want to go to your major league hitting coach and Andy Haynes, who's the Pittsburgh Pirates hitting coach. But Brian Hayes had a literal renaissance last year in the second half. And what happened was he went down to Double-A because in Double-A he was great in Double-A, and he fixed them. And the day after the season ended, you're gone. They fired him, and a lot of players were not happy at all, to say the least. And then obviously with the Mitch Keller stuff, that article came out, and then Mitch Keller the day later is extended. Was it 4 years? Technically it's 5, but it's just getting added on to this contract. So it's 4 years, about $77 million, which of course that's about as good as you're going to get for a Pirates contract. The Pirates are never, maybe O'Neal Cruz, maybe Paul Skeens, give them over $100-something million contracts. But we're lucky we even got a Reynolds contract extension done, because this could have been his last year in a Pittsburgh Pirates uniform.
And that Keller extension, that was the biggest in Pirates history for a pitcher, right?
Yes.
That's crazy.
And we are looming a big one in David Bendar this year as well. He is also a free agent after 2024, which clearly a Pittsburgh guy, you would want to keep him on that team at all costs. So it's hard to say, man. I mean, I just find it very, very weird that the Pirates extended Keller. Now, obviously, extensions take a long time to negotiate, right? I was told, because I have a little inside source who works for the Pirates, they were working on an extension the week after the season ended. But I just find the timing of this announcement very weird, because it's to get the heat off of Bob Nutting's back, in my eyes. Because I could tell you right now, when he saw that article, he probably honestly didn't care. Probably. Probably laughing, probably, to be honest with you. Nutting only looks at the Pirates as a trophy on a mantle on a fireplace. That's all he looks at it as. He'd rather own his ski resort.
Oh, that's right.
Or wine company now that he owns. He actually owns a wine company now. So yeah, it's all over the place. I mean, I would love the Pirates to sell the team, but it's just not going to happen. I mean, it's just not. He makes too much money. So
yeah, that article was just a mess. I mean, you're talking about an organization that is just so dysfunctional, talking about Nutting taking money out of the baseball operations to renovate their spring training clubhouse that was built in 1927. They wanted renovations for it because it was built in 1927. And Nutting said, okay, you can do it, but it's going to be coming out of the player payroll. What is going on? It's absolutely dysfunctional.
He looks at the Pirates payroll as one. He don't allocate funds like, oh yeah, here's like stadium updates or whatever. He looks at the Pirates payroll as one whole bubble. That's how he looks at it.
Nothing's going to be coming out of his own personal bank account. He refuses. He doesn't care. He doesn't care.
It's sad. And the ticket prices are literally hiked like 25% this year, dude. Unbelievable.
Jesus.
Absolutely unbelievable.
But yeah, I feel a little bit privileged because my Blue Jays, they spent like $100 million to renovate their Dunedin complex and like create this pitching lab, which has helped Jose Barrios obviously last year, Yusei Kikuchi. Hopefully it helps Alek Manoah this year. And last year we spent the most in club history, and it's just a couple years after spending $100 million to renovate that. So I'm happy my team.
They're not being cheap.
They're not being cheap
at all.
But I feel for you. That would be hard to go through as a fan.
Oh, believe me, we've been telling him to sell a team now since, I mean, we've only had 13, 14, 15, and then 18 as winning seasons. Those out of 2000, he's been the owner since 2006. He has only had 4 above 500 seasons since 2006 as the owner of the Pittsburgh Pirates, which is absolutely ridiculous. Which, what do you even blame on? Like, do you blame the development of these players? Do you blame the wallet, the trades? I mean, what do you do?
I'm blaming it all because it's like Nutting's the owner. If he sees the dysfunction going on, he can make these changes and he says, okay, something has to change, whether it's firing everybody, bringing in completely new people, doing something,
I do firmly
some care for the team.
I do firmly believe if the Pirates, because they went 76 and 86 last year, which is actually a very big improvement compared to the last couple of years. But I'll tell you one thing. If they don't improve at all this year, I do think the GM and Derek Shelton are both gone this year. I thought Shelton would have been gone last year, if I'm going to be honest, because we had like a 13 or 14 game losing streak in late June last year, which completely took us out of the race. Because we were actually in first place in the National League Central till mid-June.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously the Cubs and the Reds both got hot, and it was all a mess. It was all a mess. And the Brewers just continued to kick our butts no matter what, so.
Yeah, it is just really funny. Keller got extended one day after that article happened. Obviously, this contract was in the works for a while, but it's very clear that it accelerated rapidly as soon as that article came out, because instead of the narrative being, okay, our owner won't spend money, the narrative is now, hey, he extended Reynolds, he extended Hayes, and he extended Keller. Wow, what a great person.
If you look at the track record, Brian Hayes was extended a day before the Pirates home opener in 2021, or 2022, I believe. Last year, a couple days after opening day, Reynolds got extended. If you look at the past history, you would have thought maybe the Keller extension would have been announced sometime first week of the season, but I find it very weird that this extension was announced that day of all days, which a lot of fans think the same thing, and I even saw Mitch Keller's dad even putting fans on blast for thinking that, saying, oh, it's been in the works. Okay, it could have been in the works, and it probably was in the works.
Sure, it was.
But, the timing of this all is you couldn't have scripted this better, to be honest with you. You couldn't have. And the matter of the fact is, if the Pirates want nothing to spend, maybe we should bully him a little bit more, and maybe he will spend,
Maybe.
Like I said, we're still looming a big free agent in David Bendar. Our bullpen is very good. Probably the strongest point of this team, because we know the starting rotation is probably the weakest by far of this team. So I love the bullpen configuration, the starting rotation. I don't like. I don't like at all. Martin Perez, I don't like. Marco Gonzalez, I don't like. Mitch Keller, obviously going to be there for 5 years. We still have a 4th and 5th spot in the rotation still needed to be figured out, which is insane considering we're only 30 days away from opening day.
Hey, I have 2 words. Bailey Falter. Come on.
Yeah, Bailey Falter, who I don't believe he's going to be any good. Roland Contreras, who is pitching for the Pirates today against the Blue Jays, they're saying that he's apparently broken out in spring training. Well, we'll put that to the test. We'll see how that works. I don't believe that at all. I just don't understand why, the Pirates were linked to so many pitchers this offseason, like Shota Imanaga, or Yariel Rodriguez for the Blue Jays, even better. Yeah. And I just find it so hard to believe. What was Yariel's contract? 5 for 32, right?
35, yeah. Could be 42 or something like that, yeah.
Why couldn't the Pirates compete with that? That's pretty cheap if you ask me.
It is. It definitely is.
That's pretty cheap. They couldn't compete with that.
Yeah, he'll be a quality arm, I'll tell you that. I mean, that's definitely a guy the Pirates should have gone after. But this also goes back to players probably don't even want to play for the Pirates, because you look at that Athletics article, there were so many former players and executives that anonymously spoke about this situation. So this reputation from former players where they're saying, hey, Bob Nutting's a bad owner, why would a player want to go there and play under this when they know the dysfunction,
They know they're getting traded. Like, the only time anyone ever comes to Pittsburgh is on a 1-year deal. And then they know they're getting traded at the deadline no matter what, to try to bring in these prospects who are going to magically pan out, which very rarely ever happen.
When was the last time they gave a multi-year deal? Was it like 2018, 17? It was something like that.
For free agents?
Yeah.
I believe it would have been Corey Dickerson in like 2017, maybe. I could be completely wrong, but I think that is the last time we have seen something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, again, continuing that reputation of trading a guy at the deadline, it's so bad.
Not going to be any different this year. Not going to be any different. Martin Perez, if he somehow has a good first half, gone. Rowdy Tellez, if he has a good first half, gone.
Marco.
Well, he's actually on contract. He's actually we got him via trade.
Oh, that's
so he's actually on contract till 2026, I believe. He has a lot of years under control. But Aroldis Chapman, that'll be a big one to keep an eye out for. The deadline, 1 year, $10 million, gone.
He'll definitely be traded.
God forbid David Bendar. Oh, that would be terrible. That would be. Oh my God, that would be waving the white flag.
Yeah, Pirates Twitter would have a meltdown.
Yes, I would melt down. I would literally fall to the ground. Literally.
I know you would.
Not good. But I've brought this question up plenty of times, and I guess we can kind of talk about this leading into the next segment. Trevor Bauer.
Interesting.
He said the Pirates did not want him at all. And obviously, Pirates have a history of being cheap.
And here's the interesting part. The Pirates don't want Trevor Bauer, but the interesting thing is,
yes,
they've been linked to Domingo Germán. Didn't they offer him a contract or something like that?
Yes. He literally posted in black and yellow on Instagram, 55 is back, baby, which keep in mind, the Pirates don't have an active 55 right now. So, yeah, I don't know what's going on there, but yes, they definitely offered him some kind of deal, yes.
G1 Bay, what was his thing? Doesn't he have history of...
Yes. Aroldis Chapman has history, yes. Yep. Confirmed history, yes. And it's funny because Bauer could have played for league minimum. He literally said he'd play for league minimum. That's right up the Pirates' alley. Kind of calling out the Pirates in that quote. And he said that they didn't want him, which I just find bizarre.
I do as well. Considering
he was found innocent, but everybody's just blacklisted him.
Oh, of course, he's blacklisted. He's absolutely blacklisted.
Yeah, and I'm sure even if an owner wants him, like let's say Nutting didn't care, he's like, yeah, I'll take Bauer. Here's the thing. What is Manfred telling these teams? I mean, I guarantee you he's saying something to them.
Yes, absolutely. Manfred don't like Bauer. That's even before the whole allegation and things even began. Like, if you watch Trevor Bauer's YouTube, which I watch very frequently, as well as Momentum, which they're very good. They're very good at what they do. Bauer has put Manfred on blast more times than I could count for various different things like media, and I don't even know all the things he's done, but there is definitely some sort of truth behind Manfred saying, listen, no matter at all costs, find other pitchers, do not let this guy back in the league. I don't want blasted, and things like that. Sad situation. Teams need him. Like, it's not like they don't.
The Reds, yep.
Yeah.
A ton of teams can take him.
Reds said Bauer said he wanted to be a Red again. He said he wanted to, have a playoff atmosphere with the team because he obviously couldn't the first stint. General manager already said, nope, not happening. So interesting stuff there.
Ridiculous.
Wasn't he linked to the Mets or something?
Well, a couple years ago, yes. And speaking of the Mets, I think they could very well use him right now with Cody Senga being out. Probably June. I mean, it's not confirmed how long he's going to be out, but some doctor in that field posted a video like on Twitter the other day saying, like, most likely June is that recovery time. So that's basically half the year, pretty much. So yeah, I mean, they could definitely use him. And if he's willing to play for league minimum, I seriously don't know why any team on this planet, even the Athletics, would even take him in. Seriously, I don't get it. I'll never get it. I'll never understand it. But you have players like, Julio Urias, or I said his name right? Yeah. Yeah, and, he'll somehow magically find his way back into the league. Somehow. Watch.
Probably.
Guaranteed.
Osuna came back as well. He played with the Astros for a few years.
Yep.
Ridiculous. I wish they'd give Bauer a chance, but it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, the Mets need a pitcher. I mean, Senga being out is a huge, huge thing. He was so good last year. Where do they pivot to now? It's clearly not going to be Bauer. Do they pivot to Jordan Montgomery. What do they do? Do they just stay put? I mean,
I think they thoroughly stay put, yes.
I think so too, yeah.
They have no shot with that current lineup and current rotation to even win. They don't.
And I think they understand that.
They're going to be a third-place team at best.
Yeah, they're not coming to the Phillies or the Braves, yeah.
No. You have to watch out for the Nationals as well. I've been on the Nationals hype train for a long time.
Yeah.
The Nationals have a lot of up-and-comers coming very soon, including Dylan Cruz.
I like the Nationals, but I mean, for me, I think a lot of them are going to be coming up towards second half this season.
Yeah, definitely.
So I don't view them as like a playoff threat, but I could see in like 2025 them making some sort of a splash.
Absolutely. They're going to service time manipulate all their guys like how the Pirates do. So, which is funny because, with service time manipulation, the rule is now if you finish in the top 3, it counts no matter what as a service year, no matter what. And you get additional draft picks towards the end of the first round, like their competitive balance picks or whatever they're freaking called. But, I think, speaking of the Pirates, I think we should call up Paul Skeens as soon as possible. There is no point in keeping him down there. He is gonna finish top 3 in NL Rookie of the Year voting. No doubt about it. Behind probably Yamamoto. Yamamoto is probably your NL Rookie of the Year, just off the top of my head. American League, I'm going to go Jackson Holiday. I do think with this new ownership now, this old owner is going to have no care in the world. If Jackson has a good spring training, he will be on the opening day roster in Baltimore. I think that wholeheartedly.
I could definitely see it.
I don't think the Orioles, I don't know. I don't think the Orioles can win 101 games again, especially with the Yankees. That should be better. The Blue Jays, I'm hoping, and I think will be better. But I think they'll definitely be a better team come playoffs because last year heading into the playoffs, it didn't really seem like they could go out and win a few games, especially against the Rangers with that pitching rotation. But now that they have Corbin Burns and the young guys have another year under their belt, I think they won't win as much in the regular season, but come playoff time, I think they're going to be much more set than last season for sure.
Yeah, it was definitely a lack of experience. You could see it in the postseason the entire time. These guys never played there. In the postseason, it was a big change. And one reason I also don't think they'll be able to win as much as they did last year is the injuries. I mean, Felix Bautista obviously not going to be playing, I don't think, all year. Isn't Bradish injured as well, I believe?
I think he's injured for a little bit.
I think he is injured for a little bit, yeah. It's definitely not ideal. The injuries have definitely got to them. And obviously, the division with the Yankees getting better, adding Soto, adding Stroman, definitely going to tally up some divisional wins there.
For sure. I think the Rays won't win. I think they won 97 last year, 96.
Yeah, they definitely won't.
With the amount of injuries they have.
The injury bug. Yeah.
They have so many great prospects coming up this season, but they cannot win 97 games again with all those injuries. There's just no chance.
Yeah, they're continuing the Tampa Bay retool that they do every, however many years. And that's what it's going to be. It's going to be a retool. McClanahan being out is huge. I mean, you can't replace the guy. You just can't. Along with several other pitching injuries, with guys going to be out till like the midseason, like Springs. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't see the Rays winning as much as they did. No.
I think this could finally be the year that the Rays just kind of win like 80 games or something. Just have a down year. I mean, I thought it was going to be last season, and then
I did too. Yeah,
they started 12-0, I think.
Yeah,
and then they lost.
They went on
They
went on an absolute hot streak the first 2 months of the season. It was
insane.
Really
were. They were incredible. Yeah.
And it all fell apart
around June, July. They just fell apart.
Yeah,
for various different reasons, of course, but we're not going to talk about that. But yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm not even going to get into that. No way. You know what I'm referring to. No way. Absolutely not. But I know the Rays, their owners, just like the Pirates, really. They're cheap.
Yeah, the difference is, though, is you can tell to an extent that they care about the team. Yeah. Because they don't allow dysfunction to go on their organization.
No,
that's the thing I'll give them credit for. They get smart minds,
And their minor league, from what I can tell, their developmental system is very good.
It is.
Something as well the Pirates lack as well. Pretty much for the most part.
It's one of the best in MLB. Has to be.
And that's why they're so good that's why they're so good with being so cheap.
And
But
I mean, it's the depth. They have so many
Yep.
guys. One guy gets injured, okay, another guy steps up. A guy
You
you've
never
never
got
heard
Yep.
of.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's always the guys you never hear of that always come out of nowhere. Like, oh yeah, I'm here now.
Yep. Exactly.
Like Junior Caminero, I think he's gonna have a pretty good year this year.
Yeah, he definitely will.
I think he's
Yeah.
gonna have a pretty good year this year. I really expect to
agree.
be on that hype train.
I agree.
He's gonna be very good. But no, I think this is the year that they finally think to themselves, you know what? We might have to completely tear it all down. I thought Rosarena was going to be traded in the offseason this year. I thoroughly thought it was going to be.
I don't know about tear it all down from the standpoint. They have a lot of guys who came up last year before. They have a lot of guys under team control, but a guy like Rosarena, he could be traded.
Rosarena don't have many years left on control.
He doesn't. But if there was anyone they could extend, I feel like it could be Randy because he's the fan attraction.
Of course. Yeah. Of course. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that has to happen. I mean, that stadium, of course, that stadium, the big one. I mean, that stadium's just terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible. Don't they have a deal in place to make a new one?
Yeah, they
like
are.
By the year 2030 something.
Yeah. We'll see if that actually happens, though.
Yeah, it's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, well,
so at the end of the day, it goes through the city of Tampa Bay, has to agree upon it, and
St. Petersburg.
If you don't agree upon it, or whatever.
And here's another problem. St. Petersburg, dude. Okay, here's why they have no fans like that actually go to the games. The traffic to get there is so bad. I've been there probably 4 times. The traffic is terrible. They refuse to build a stadium in Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay would be much, much better on the standpoint of traffic. There's no public transportation to get people there in St. Petersburg, so that's also why they have no fans. But
you know more than that than I do, obviously. I don't know anything about that. You know more about that than I do.
Yeah, Florida native.
Of course.
Yeah, that whole division is really interesting. It's filled with, will the Blue Jays bring back Matt Chapman? What will the Red Sox do? Are they just going to stay put and do absolutely nothing? It's an interesting division. And how will the guy step up for the Rays?
I think that's the best division to watch in baseball, probably.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah.
I mean, think about it, all these other divisions, there's like a couple teams that have a chance, but really, I mean, I think the AL East has a lot of teams in that division who have an actual chance to actually do something.
Yeah, Jared Carrabis keeps posting. Red Sox are going to be the best 5th place team ever. I'm telling you.
Probably.
I think
everyone in that division is probably going to end up over 500, which I can't tell you the last time that has happened in baseball.
Red Sox had 78 last year, and they were in 5th, which is crazy.
Yeah, and there was a lot of bad players in that team.
And your third base coach, too. I was at the game when he circled Reese McGuire home, and then they doubled him up at second to end the game. I was there.
Yep. Oh,
I was there. A lot of angry Red Sox fans. Let me just say that.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Now he's gone, and he's the Blue Jays' third base coach.
Oh. Didn't even know he got a job there.
Yep. We got him a couple months ago, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we'll see how he does. Hopefully he doesn't do that again.
Mm-hmm. So where do we think Jordan Montgomery is going to be going? Will it be the Mets? Because Kodai's saying it. Will it be the Red Sox? Or will it be the Angels? Who's it going to be?
All those teams you mentioned pretty much have no shot to make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go on a whim, and I'm going to say if the Angels don't get Snell, that's where he goes. But if they do get Snell, I will see him Red Sox. Mm-hmm. I'll go Red Sox.
I think they need him, yeah.
Definitely
Red Sox have a better chance than the Mets make the playoffs.
And, this brings us into Rafael Devers just called out the team the other day. You're going to listen to the face of the franchise. You have to. He's clearly displeased. He just signed a mega contract last year. You got to have that guy be happy, or else there's going to be problems. Alex Cora, last year of his contract as manager, he called out the Red Sox. He told them that they need to start acting like the Red Sox and not acting like another team like the Braves or the Rays. So, definitely
Mike Trout
make a move.
Yeah, Mike Trout's kind of said the same thing about the Angels. Like he's talking with the front office people.
I saw that.
Yeah, he also wants them to go out and get Snell or Montgomery. So we'll definitely have to see.
Yeah,
if I'm Trout, I know he's loyal to that city, but I would get out of there.
I would get out of there too, but he's just
After
such a good
Shohei
player.
left, get out of there. Yes, please.
Yeah.
For the sake of baseball, he has to make a sacrifice to leave that city to actually go to another team. A lot of people think Philadelphia, obviously, but I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, that would have made sense.
A package for Trout in a trade would. I don't even know where to begin. That would even what that would even look like.
Yeah, it would depend on how much the team would eat the contract too. He's getting paid a lot for a very long time.
Yeah.
Yep. He was like one of the first guys who made like one of them big money contracts, and all of a sudden you start seeing these guys left and right taking more and more over him.
Yeah.
Too bad Trout wasn't a free agent in like 2023 or something, or else he'd have probably made like 25 to 30% more of what he probably is making right now.
Yeah, that's and Juan Soto is going to be a free agent after this season.
Yeah.
He's not obviously as good as Trout was when he signed that extension, but Soto could also get $400 million at the end of this year.
I think he will. I really think he will.
I think he will as well, especially if he finishes top 3, top 5 in MVP voting, which will most likely happen.
Mm-hmm. That's what a lot of people think is going to happen.
Yeah, and he's going to get like 400, 450.
And if the Yankees were to lose him after trading all that they did to the Padres, the fans would absolutely lose it. They would lose it if they lost Soto.
Yeah, it's not very New York-esque to lose big players. I actually made a video about that the other day, that the Yankees don't really feel like the Yankees anymore.
I saw, yeah.
Like, they haven't won the World Series in over a decade. 2010s were the first decade they haven't won the World Series since like the 1910s or something.
Yeah.
And they just had their worst season since the 1992, I believe. They just don't really feel the same. And if Juan Soto leaves after this year, Yankees fans will definitely riot for sure.
They will.
Yeah.
And I think he's definitely going to test free agency.
It's already been said. There's a good chance he does. And he's a Boris guy, right? I'm like 99% sure he is. I could see like a winter meetings signing there. Yankees just go balls to the walls, offer a huge deal.
Yeah,
they probably have to.
Judges. Yeah, he's part of Boris. Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to think,
contract.
Yeah. He would definitely fit the Blue Jays, let me just say, but I don't see us spending $450 million for Juan Soto. And I don't think the Yankees would lose Juan Soto to a division rival. They would never let that happen.
Yeah, there's no way.
If the Blue Jays were in on him offering $450, the Yankees would just give him a blank check. Yeah. They could just not lose him to the Blue Jays. Yeah.
Let me ask you something. How did you feel when those reports came out when Shohei Ohtani was going to Toronto on a private jet?
Oh my God, that was the worst. I was extremely happy when John Morosi said he was actually on the plane, and the Blue Jays Reddit was going crazy, and then I think it was Bob Nightingale said that he wasn't on the plane, and it just, my heart sank. It was so bad. It was, and then I get the Jeff Passan alert saying that he signed, and I just turned my phone off. Yeah.
Rightfully so, dude.
Yeah, I couldn't deal with it. Also, because my friends were like, "Oh, what happened to Shohei?"
Yeah.
That was the worst. That was the worst part.
Yeah.
I will say, MLB reporting this year has been very bad.
Yeah.
Very bad.
It's never.
A lot of he said sort of stuff going on.
Yeah. John Morosi is not my favorite guy anymore.
Yeah, I'd imagine. I made a video, I remember. The Blue Jays are the favorites to land Juan Soto and Shohei Ohtani. And then I remember, I don't know, probably 3 days later, one was a Yankee, one was a Dodger. Rough stuff for the Blue Jays.
Very rough stuff, but I'm still pretty optimistic about us. Our fan base has been pretty upset the entire offseason, and rightly so, because we were linked to Juan Soto and Shohei, and then we signed Isaiah Kiner-Falefa and Justin Turner, who just aren't big-name guys. I do think that they can have a role in this team and be very productive.
I think Turner is going to be great for the Blue Jays. Red Sox should run him back.
I think so too. I'm excited about him, especially if Jansen can stay healthy. I think Jansen batting like 5th or 6th behind Justin Turner. I just think that they'll be able to drive in a lot more runs. Like last season, we had Brandon Belt, who was great, but he wasn't really driving in any runs, and then we had to move him up to the 2nd spot last season. Yeah.
And Turner, dude, he's an RBI machine. He will drive in so many runs for that team.
96 RBIs at age 38 is unbelievable. Yeah.
It's crazy. He has good contact still. He has great power considering the age. It is unbelievable what he's done.
Yeah. I know a lot of people don't like the stat hitting with runners in scoring position and like situational hitting. A lot of people don't like that stat, but he really does understand how to hit the ball in certain scenarios, especially with a runner on third and less than 2 outs. This Blue Jays team, the amount of times they popped it up, they struck out with a runner on third and 0 or 1 outs was ridiculous. And Justin Turner, I think there's a stat that he scored the runner from third in that scenario, I think over 20 times in a row at one point, which is exactly what we need. Yeah.
And I mean, he's a veteran for that clubhouse, something they could definitely use. He became like a favorite among the players. They wanted him back, but of course, we see what happened.
Yeah, all my friends called him Old Man Turner. That's what they would scream at the games. Yeah, Old Man Turner. They loved him.
His New Jerseys and pants.
Being a baseball card YouTuber, I know a lot of how Fanatics operates because, of course, in 2022, Fanatics purchased Topps and bought them out. And Topps has had controversy after controversy after controversy for 2 whole years now. And this is all because of Fanatics. Quality control has dipped. Prices have doubled, literally doubled, on boxes of baseball cards in 2 years' time. Which you can say inflation, whatever, yada, yada. That's pure greed at this point. Like, a box of freaking cardboard couldn't cost you $35 at the store when it used to cost $20, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, Fanatics awful, ruining sports cards and now ruining jerseys. They are awful, dude.
It's horrible. Yeah.
And every player has literally, I don't think I have seen one player actually say something positive about those jerseys yet.
No, I haven't seen anyone.
None. Mike Trout even put them on blast. When the face of baseball is literally calling you out, you better freaking make a change. Because everyone is going to agree with him no matter what because he's Mike Trout.
Yep.
And don't want to get me started on the pants. That's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, they're filming a movie, but it's not a baseball movie. It's definitely interesting.
They're probably going to get offers from OnlyFans.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know who it was, but there was some athlete a couple years ago. I forget the guy's name. I don't know where he plays.
I know exactly what you're talking about. We were talking about that the other day.
Yeah, he had an offer to join OnlyFans because his stuff was all out. It was a baseball player, though, because he wears tight pants, I think. I don't know. I forget the guy. But yeah, OnlyFans literally offered him a contract to make exclusive content with them because of his tight pants, and they liked what they saw, I guess. Oh, believe me, OnlyFans is keeping their eye out this year for sure.
Yeah, I know.
Definitely for sure. Definitely. Yeah. You're going to have players wearing OnlyFans logo underwear now. You can see right through them.
Yeah.
You can see the Nike logo on their underwear, on their boxers. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Doesn't surprise me. Is it going to get changed? It could, but not this year.
No.
That's too late now. They manufactured all those jerseys and all those pants for the whole entire year now for every team. So it's definitely too late to this year, but maybe next year. Next year, I think.
Maybe.
We just got to suffer. We just got to suffer for 1 year. That's all.
No buying jerseys this season.
No,
dude, no way.
There's a lot of.
Sorry, you can go.
There's a lot of Etsy and like DHgate out there that you can go buy through. That I've had friends buy through. You couldn't even tell the difference. Seriously, you could not tell the difference between a Fanatics jersey and a DHgate jersey. It's actually pretty insane. And they're like $30.
Yeah, that's nice.
So if you're gonna buy a jersey of like Paul Skeens or something, or whoever gets called up this year, DHgate got you covered.
Yeah.
And considering the fact that they did increase those jerseys by like $70 this year.
Yeah,
by the way.
I know.
That's ridiculous. Again, everything Fanatics touches, they ruin. Apparently. It's been proven. About it.
Yeah.
About it.
Yeah, I think that's all we have for episode 1. Yeah, pretty solid episode. Went over a lot of different stuff. But yeah, that's all I have. Anything you guys want to say?
Oh, well, just stay tuned. This could be a great show. We're going to do a lot of great things. Hopefully a lot of news comes out. The more news that comes out, the more we're going to do. So
exactly. Yeah.
Hopefully we get a lot of news here very soon. Baseball's right around the corner, 30 days away. Should be a lot of news to cover throughout the entire year, 7 months at least worth.
Yep. Weekly podcast, of course. Anything you want to say, Greenlight?
Yeah, just stay tuned. At least once a week. If it's a busy week, maybe we'll do 2, maybe even 3. We'll have to see. So yeah, it's gonna be good.
All right. Well, hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching.